DSPN, the Devlin Sports Podcast Network.
Warriors skipper Tohu Harris retired a couple of weeks ago, as well you know, and we're very privileged to be able to get him face to face for a good long chat about the career, about the prospects of the season, but more importantly about where he is at the moment. Tohu, thanks so much for joining us, mate.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
So, a couple of weeks after it was announced, how do you feel right now? Have you accepted what has happened?
Yeah, I've accepted it. It's been some time now, and the club have been awesome throughout this whole process, and managed to be able to spend a bit more time with my family, which is, this time of the year is pretty foreign with the season coming up. But so it's a little bit different, a little bit strange, but it's been in that aspect, it's been really nice. So it's come to terms with it, and just got to look ahead to what's in front now.
I'll ask you about that, about your future in a few questions' time. When I spoke to you last year, though, and you told us about how, your wrist was so bad you were having trouble opening doors and that at home. So it's really concerning. How are these injuries going to be in the next few years for you? Are you going to, get your body back and actually recover, or what?
Yeah, well, the rest of my body's feeling great and was throughout preseason. It's just comes down to this wrist, and from all the information that the surgeon has given and the medical professionals, I don't think it's going to change very much. I've just got to learn to live with it, and because there's no cartilage in my wrist anymore, it's just something that I've got to deal with for the rest of my life. I guess the risk of me playing was making it even worse than it is. So, I think they had the rest of my life in mind when the doc made the decision, and it's just something that I've just got to adjust to and work around, I guess.
How much of a shock is it, and how different is it going to be for you? I've got a number of questions with this question. How your life was planned. You were going to play for another year and things. So does it have to kind of be a complete reset and rethink, or is it a lot easier than that?
No, yeah, there's certainly some adjustment. Like my own personal goals was hoping to play longer than next year, but obviously. Was contracted I only contracted for next year, but I was planning on, having a good couple of seasons and hopefully to continue my career. So, there's a lot of adjusting that needs to happen. But the club, the support of the club, the RLPA, like everyone involved, they sort of wrap around you, and they're allowing me to have this time with my family to sort of let it all sink in and I guess make the adjustments slowly.
Have you had any thoughts already about what you might like to do, as opposed to, we don't know, and you probably don't know what you will do, but what you might like to do in terms of staying involved with the game? And there's plenty of options. There's the admin side of it. There's the coaching side of it. There's the talking about it side of it, which you've always been good at as well.
To be honest, there hasn't been a whole lot of thinking ahead. I'm still contracted to the club this year, so I still have my obligations and contract to fulfill. So, the club's been very kind in allowing me to have time with family and things like that. But there will still be, I guess, obligations I need to fulfill this year with the Warriors. So, so. In the near future, I guess that's what's ahead of me, and just working out and waiting to hear how that all looks at the moment.
Are you worried at all about retirement? Because you're a young man. You're only in your 30s.
Well, I don't know. I obviously wasn't planning on this to happen this quickly, but it's something that sort of I can't spend too much time worrying. I've just got to I guess, make the most of the time that I've got with my family while I've got it, and then I guess work with the club, and then things will happen naturally, whether that's with the club or if they've got different plans for me. I'm not too sure, but no, it's not too worrying at the moment.
Okay. You don't have any regrets? You haven't had any of those kind of feelings at all? Because I can only imagine that, there just must be just a flood of emotions that happen, but maybe they also happen over time.
Yeah, well, the regret thing is because this wasn't my decision, I guess. So it's hard to regret something that I guess that got taken out of my hands. So that's a bit of a strange feeling. That is it wasn't my decision. So I don't know if a regret comes into it, but
Sure.
in terms of not being able to achieve what I wanted to achieve at the Warriors, that not having that opportunity moving forward, I guess that part is, there's a little bit of regret there, because wanting to win the competition with the Warriors, excited for who's coming in, and the guys that are the young guys who are gaining experience at the club, like not being able to play alongside them is I guess a regret there. But again, that sort of decision had been taken out of my hands, and it's something I've just got to adjust to and get on with.
How do you look back at your career, or is it too early to even ask you about this? Obviously, you've got a highlight. You've won a premiership. You've you've got such a great reputation. People loved watching you play. Outstanding player. Have you thought much about how maybe you'd like to be remembered as a player?
No, I haven't thought too much about how I'd like to be remembered. That's
It sounds a bit morbid. Sorry, I didn't mean to sound morbid.
Yeah.
I just mean, you've just got, of course, but you just held it, as I say, in such high regard, and people absolutely loved you as a player.
Again, like I haven't thought too much about that. The thing that I've been able to reflect on, like I've been extremely fortunate to experience some cool things throughout my career, and played in some big games, being able to win the competition, all that sort of stuff. The experiences are real special, and being able to run out on the field with my son like that's something that is really close to my heart. But I think the thing that I'll remember most is the relationships built at both clubs, and I think those are the memories that will stick a lot, just those interactions and those different experiences in and around footy.
Did you reach the heights that you wanted to as a player? Can you sit there and say to yourself, yeah, man, I got to where I wanted to go?
In some respects, yeah. I didn't set too many personal goals. Like my goals were centered around where what I wanted to achieve with the teams that I played in, and I managed to achieve that with the Melbourne Storm, being a part of a great side there, and got piggyback from a few future immortals, and wasn't able to achieve that, achieve what I wanted with the Warriors. Winning the competition is the ultimate goal, and to be able to be a part of the first team in Warriors history to do that was a huge goal of mine. But again, now when it does happen, and I'm certain it will, I'll have a different role. I'll be there watching and cheering them on.
The most satisfying times that you've had at the Warriors, is it just easy to say, hey, it was 2 years ago when we won 16 games and got into the top 4? But I'm sure that, with what, your own personal experiences, the fact that, you see and experience so much more than we do. You've already mentioned the young players and the players that you've played with. If you had to kind of pick, a couple of bits of pizza out of that whole pie, what would it be, the most satisfying things about being at the Warriors?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Like, I don't know if, satisfying is a hard one to sort of answer, but like there has been some special moments here at the club. There's been some tough times, but like the homecoming game, that was something that was incredible. Just seeing how, I don't know, how much the Warriors mean to the people of New Zealand. Like it was crazy. I played in some games at Mount Smart Stadium, and there was more seats than people. So we've gone through some tough times,
and oh yeah.
But I think through the hardest time, through that COVID period, I think, and not being able to play at home for over 1,000 days, I think it showed how when we came back, how much I guess the Warriors were missed, and how much the Warriors missed our fans. Like, because the support has been through the roof ever since we returned. Whether we're winning games or losing them, they've been showing up each and every week, and that's been incredible to be a part of and incredible to see.
I love hearing that because, sport is emotion, and anyone who doesn't think it's emotional, I mean, I don't know what planet you live on. It's pure emotion, isn't it? And the buzz you must get when you run out last year, every home game sold out, as opposed to, as you say, with empty stadiums and foul weather nights and things like that. So how much does it actually lift you as a person and a player? And what does it feel like when you're running out there and you've got that thing rocking and all of those people are there for you?
Yeah, it's funny, like a lot of times when you're playing footy, everything is drowned out, so you don't sort of recognise it. You're sort of in the moment, and you can hear the person next to you, all that sort of stuff. But there are so many times over the last couple of years that whether we're defending on the line or someone had a big run or whatever it was, the crowd sort of broke through that that sort of, I don't know what you call it, the
cocoon or a bubble that you're in or something.
Yeah, you almost are in a bubble because you're focused on what's in front of you. But so many times the crowd broke through that just from the noise, and you can actually feel the noise when you're out there, and it does give you a lift when you hear that sort of stuff. And the ones that I really enjoyed was the games that we played in Sydney or the Gold Coast, and our supporters were outnumbered, but they were by
making
far
more
the
noise.
loudest.
Yeah. You can hear it through the TV. It's fantastic, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, Warriors chants like that. Like it was crazy to experience that, and like it does make you feel good. It gives you a little bit of energy, and because sometimes when you're playing away, it's hard. You're away from your family, and just having that little bit extra, it really helps.
There you go, fans. So if you're watching this or listening to it, make as much noise as possible because it does actually work. And if you are watching this on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, please. It really does help us. I just want to just briefly touch on that COVID period because I did speak to you during an interview there when I was working at News Talk ZB, and you were really honest about it, about how hard it was. It was lonely. It was just a really difficult time. And when you put it in that perspective, Tohu, where you're talking about 1,000 days, man, that's a hell of a long time. What did it, take out of you? I suppose part of it is that it brings the group together, but you're missing out on so much as well. Is it a time you look back at now fondly, or how do you look at it?
It was obviously a tough time, but there's parts that were extremely hard, and there were parts that when we look back on it, a couple of years removed from it, we can sort of look at it like this now. But there are parts of it that that were some pretty cool moments. Like we got to stay in some pretty cool locations, like Star of the Sea in Terrigal, right on the beachfront in Surfers Paradise. Like we got looked after a lot throughout. We stayed in some special places, but again, that was mixed in amongst some pretty tough times and time away with families. But yeah, eventually we all got our families and we were together, and those are the times where you can sort of take stock of where we're actually staying, where we're living, and the special places of the world that we were.
Is it fun? And how much fun is it? Playing rugby league for a living, playing for these clubs, playing for Melbourne, coming home, playing here in New Zealand for the Warriors. Is fun a word that you attach to it, or does it just become business and fun happens when you kind of stop later and think about it? It is a job, and there's times where it's hard and you've got to approach it like a job. But the best points in your career
you often find that you're playing at your best when you are having fun. Like 2023, that season, along with 2018, my first year in the Warrior season, those were probably two seasons where I felt like I had the most fun in my career, and that's sort of circumstances brought along, I guess, with my age. Like Melbourne Storm, we achieved some special things and played in some big games and stuff. But as a young player, I think I didn't allow myself to have as much fun because obviously who I was playing alongside of and the pressure I put on myself to perform. I felt like there was a lot more pressure on that I placed on myself, and it sort of took away from the fun side, whereas I probably played some of the best footy in my career in 2018 and 2023 because I sort of was a lot more relaxed, had fun with the people around me, and we just played free-flowing footy, which we sort of haven't done since we were kids. So that's what made the game fun, and that's why I enjoyed those years so much.
A couple of quick questions. We'll let you go, and I thank you so much for your time. Good, I could sit here and talk to you for an hour, but I know that you're really much for time. Just physically, just explain to us on this side of the microphone, us fans, and how physically tough and demanding is it to play in that league right now, and compare that to when you first started. Has it gradually gone up? Is it harder today than it ever was, for example?
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think it's been gradual either. It's every year it gets the game. They change rules to make the game faster and harder, and so the importance of things like recovery and training to, I guess, prepare your body for what it goes through on game day, becomes even more important. And the game was a lot slower when I first started, which probably helped a bit to learn the game, and I guess the importance of wrestle was higher, or you were able to do more on the ground. But yeah, like I said, every year they seem to change a few more rules, and the game's just gotten so much faster, but the physicality of it is still there. So it's the game's probably the hardest it's ever been to play, and that's why it takes some special efforts to win this competition or to be successful week in, week out.
Do you follow or look at a lot of social media? Are you into that at all, or not?
No, I don't have social media.
Great, because some players do. Some players love it. I've searched for you. Just don't seem to be. It's not your gig.
No, I haven't had it for maybe 10 years or so, or maybe not 10 years, but for a long, long time. And so I don't know anything about what's going on.
Was there a reason for that? Was it kind of a deliberate choice?
Yeah, deliberate choice. I just can't be bothered with it. It doesn't. It's I've just never been interested. So, the only reason I had it at different times throughout my career was like sponsorship stuff. So contractually, but as soon as I sort of got rid of those, I got rid of the social media.
I want to thank you so much for your time. I've always loved talking to you. Love you as a player as well, mate. And I hope that over the next few years we get to see a hell of a lot of you. It's a bummer that it won't be on the field, but you've had a brilliant career. And I hope when you sit back and reflect on that you actually appreciate that too. And also that, you've given a lot of people a lot of joy and everything. So good health and go well. And it'll be good to see you back with the Warriors in some role somewhere, someday.
Thanks, Marty. Appreciate it.
DSPN.